What's up, guys? Today we're gonna be reacting to some stuff about the coronavirus, guys. You should really wash your hands literally every single day, every single time you play outside, every single time you come back, and after you eat and after you come back after eating. So yeah, guys, so today let's just react, I guess.
It's not easy to pinpoint the person who triggered an outbreak while it's spreading around the world. China is being accused of mishandling and suppressing information, but some scientists argue it has acted quickly to stop the spread of this virus right from the beginning.
So each dot here is a infection.
Trevor Bedford is a genetic detective. He's figured out when the first patient was likely infected.
The most likely scenario is that there was some initial phase at which there are animals in this market that are infected by novel coronavirus, and there's exposures that are happening at that point, and people are getting sick, but then around this November 15th to December 15th timeframe, one of those events kind of catches.
Bedford is tracking the virus's genetic code. It changes slightly when the virus passes from person to person. The data is so detailed, it traces right back to when patient 0 became sick.
And then starts this kind of epidemic fire in which one person's infecting another person, and then that has since grown to be this large epidemic that we see today.
Scientists calculate each person infected with the virus is infecting about 2 to 3 others. At times, this outbreak was doubling in size every 6 days. That large epidemic is happening in Hubei, China. The capital, Wuhan, is a bustling city of 11 million people. The first public sign that something was wrong came on December 30th. Local physicians, including Dr. Li, warned people in group chats about a SARS-like virus in the city. The next day, Wuhan's health commission told the WHO it had 27 pneumonia cases from an unknown cause. Then, New Year's Day, authorities shut down the Wuhan seafood market, believing it could be the source of the mysterious virus. A week later, China said they're dealing with a new strain of coronavirus and 41 people are sick. Within days, Chinese scientists unraveled the virus's genetic code, allowing countries to develop tests and track it right around the world. Following those reports, journalist Sean Lee traveled to Wuhan to find out what was happening on the ground.
Up until late January, local authorities were saying it's really not that bad. There's no reason to worry. It's not that serious. So it wasn't even, I think, even a lack of information so much as there was some misinformation as well in the beginning.
January 20th was pivotal. China declared the virus was spreading from person to person, and health workers were sick. To contain the spread, authorities placed an unprecedented quarantine on the people of Wuhan, followed by the rest of Hubei province. An underreaction, followed by a massive overreaction.
People are starting to flop on the floor.
Countless headlines and social media posts have been arguing China was covering up cases and the outbreak could have been stopped sooner.
So I think it's dreaming in Technicolor to think that we could have detected this earlier.
But it sounds like infectious disease specialist Alison McGeer was on the front lines during the SARS outbreak in Toronto in 2002. China was widely criticized then for not telling the world about the virus for months. But McGeer and other experts say they're extracting information from the virus itself and credit China with finding and identifying it so quickly.
We're talking a maximum of a week between when those physicians were raising the alarm bells and when China declared the outbreak to the World Health Organization. That's still really short. It's not enough time to have made a difference in the evolution of the outbreak.
On January 25th, Chinese Lunar New Year celebrations were canceled. There were nearly 1,300 confirmed cases, 41 deaths, and 23 people outside China were infected in 9 countries, including Canada. In just over 3 weeks, China had gone from identifying a virus no one had ever heard of to the unprecedented quarantine of 50 million people in order to stop the spread.
People have done an amazingly good job at trying to contain this, and if we have failed globally to contain it, you can't look at China and say, oh, you could have done better. Of course they could have done better.
At this point in the outbreak, many scientists do seem to agree on one point. Given global travel, this virus won't likely be contained, and the world is at the beginning of a mild pandemic. The last time a mild virus made its way around the world was in 2009. H1N1 ended up claiming about as many lives as the annual flu virus, but scientists say COVID-19 may be a little more severe, but China's lockdowns could change this equation. The lockdowns do appear to have slowed the spread of COVID-19 cases around the world. However, doctors in this country are being told the virus may be too late to take hold in this flu season, but they should be actively looking for it when cold and flu season starts again in November. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
So guys, I'll be reacting to different ones, so let's get real quick and react to different ones. So I have to move my face cam for this, so okay, what happens to your body when you get coronavirus?
What actually happens to your body when you get coronavirus? It spreads from droplets from the nose and mouth, often when you're coughing or sneezing, and they land on surfaces, and you pick up the virus then with your hands. And if you touch your nose, eyes or mouth, that's how you become infected. You can also pick it up by touching other people or by shaking hands and then touching your nose, face or mouth. So what happens when it enters your body? The virus sits in the throat and the upper respiratory tract. In most cases, around 80 to 85% of them, symptoms are mild and they'll quickly pass. You may get a sore throat or a dry cough, and your throat may be red. As your immune system kicks in and you start to fight the invading virus, you may also get a temperature. Your body temperature increases as it tries to create a hostile environment for the virus. In other, more severe cases, the virus can attack the lungs and cause pneumonia. This affects maybe 15 to 20% of people. It binds to two types of cells in the lungs and causes them to clog up. Goblet cells that produce mucus and cilia cells which have hairs on them and normally prevent your lungs from filling up with debris and fluid. Generally, most people recover from pneumonia, which can take up to 10 days to peak. In the most critical cases, though, coronavirus can be fatal, particularly for the elderly and those with other health conditions. In very rare cases, your immune system can go into overdrive. It produces a flood of white blood cells which activate chemicals and can leak into the lungs. This, combined with the virus's attack on the lungs, damages the cells even further and can make it harder and harder to breathe. The heightened immune response can also result in organ failure and death. Some young and healthy people have succumbed to the virus as the disease is new and no one has immunity to it. If you have a healthy immune system, your body will be able to fight it off successfully.
So guys, right now I'll be ending the video off. Make sure to wash your hands right now in case if you have the coronavirus. So I'll see you next time. Bye.